Next question is for Steve Smith, President of the Providence Teachers Union. 15 years of research in Chicago on the schools that turned around most successfully, done by the consortium, point to the importance of building a climate of trust and building safe and conducive environments for learning, both for the students and for the adults. Now, we all acknowledge that there have been recent tensions around the contract negotiations and around the layoffs. I want to know how you, as a union leader, feel about building a climate of trust in partnership with district and city leadership, and your thoughts about where we go from where we've been.
It's an interesting question regarding, maybe if you asked me that last year, I would have a different answer in terms of the prospects. The Providence Teachers Union has been at the forefront of change. We have never shied away from any topic as long as it's good for kids and fair to teachers. The teachers I talk to all believe that we have to do more in terms of finding time to do the work in the classroom, but also provide the enrichments that students need, and time for teachers to be able to do the work they have to do. But that's a two-way street. And if you're going to expect unions to come to the table and think differently, that work has to be supported. So while a longer day is important, what we do in that day is even more important. Just extending time and doing the same thing the same way, if it's not successful, is not the answer. We have to have a focus on safe and orderly schools. We have to have a focus on early childhood. It has to be, as the Secretary pointed out, and Superintendent Lucy, a systemic approach. That we can't be focused on just changing one school. We have to come with a plan to change all our schools, to bring all our schools to the point where they can not only succeed, but where teachers have the ability to have their voices and their best ideas heard. We've experienced a top-down, one-size-fits-all, and in our opinion, that doesn't work. We have to unleash the real talent that's in all our buildings, but in my opinion, has gone untapped. And along those lines, if I could ask my question to the Secretary. First, welcome to Providence, Mr. Secretary. The last time we spoke, I believe, was in Denver. And myself and Superintendent Brady had a conversation with you at the reception at the Labor Management Conference, in which, in your opening and closing remarks, you acknowledged the work that was being done in Providence on behalf of the union as well as the district. You also was very clear that collaboration was not an easy thing, that it was extremely difficult work, and it required superintendents, management, and union leaders and rank and file members to get out of their comfort zone. And you acknowledged the work that was being done in Providence. A week later, 2,000 teachers were fired. And the silence was deafening. How can you or other leaders expect superintendents to depart from traditional roles, union leaders depart from traditional roles, to aggressively address the issues that Warren has laid out to me, if there are no leaders that will support and stand up when poor decisions are made? And this isn't about good versus evil. No other district fired every teacher. And now we have a new superintendent and a union president who cannot afford to lose any more here.
Let me say a couple things. First of all, I think Providence is lucky to have Steve as the head of the union leadership. And Steve, I know your heart, and I know your courage, I know your commitment. And just on a personal level, I want to let you know how lucky I think this community is to have you at the helm. One thing Steve said to me in the back, which I didn't quite realize, I think Susan's the 4th superintendent he's had to work with. And these relationships take time to nurture. And so, Susan, I desperately hope you stay for a long time. Steve, I hope you stay for a long time. But in all seriousness, these partnerships, you can't keep chopping and changing. And to build that trust and to be willing to take those leaps of faith, it's hard to do that in the abstract, and it's hard to do that with a new partner every year or two. And having some longevity, having some continuity amongst leadership with the union, with management is desperately important. And I think that turnover has been a challenge. On the layoff of everybody here, clearly there's got to be a better way. That's not the best way to get to whatever outcome was trying to happen. I don't know the legal details of why they thought that was the only way to get there. I know there's an attempt to make sure that great teachers don't get laid off in tough economic times. But the instability that creates, the uncertainty, whether it's a school system or a business or a nonprofit, it's tough to build camaraderie, it's tough to build trust when that happens. And so working together, again, I don't know all the details, working together, finding ways to make sure in tough economic times how we keep great talent in the classroom, how we're thoughtful about that. I think that's core to the work of union management together.